Hello, everybody. Salek Shevchenko here, as always, at this time. I'm welcoming you on the Friday Alpha Leaks. This is a live stream during which we are sharing with you the updates from the wider blockchain ecosystem or wider blockchain vertical, as well as from Near and Aurora ecosystem. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining this call. Sorry for us being a little bit late. Fox. We are 6 minutes late, which means that it is like approximately how many? 360 seconds divided by 0.6 is whatever, 1,000 blocks. No, 600 blocks, something like that. We're 600 blocks late. Okay, cool. Let's go. And without further ado, let's dive into the updates. So this week was a pretty big conference happening, mostly focused on institutions and big corporates in Wyoming. And that was a place where quite a lot of people from near ecosystem, there were lots of people from near there. And initially, this conference was kind of established by Skybridge Capital, but then it kind of started to grow, and there are lots of different places where they are doing this conference, and it seems like it's just getting quite a lot of traction. I've seen quite a lot of news around it. And I would recommend everybody follow the updates from this conference. There are quite a lot of updates that are coming from there. So looking forward to seeing the adoption of blockchain technology in a kind of on the highest level with big corporates as well as institutions. Super cool. Another thing of the news from that were catching up my eye during this week was a controversy that happened from the wormhole. They were putting out the last-minute bid for acquisition of Stargate. I'm not quite sure what happened since then, because that was just like yesterday. It was happening yesterday, and maybe today the voting on Layer 0 is already kind of happened. Layer 0 and Stargate, so it's unclear. So long story short, Stargate announced that they're going to acquire, or they are proposing to acquire, Layer 0 proposed to acquire Stargate, and there were quite a lot of news around this stuff, but in the last minute, Wormhole is asking to delay this as they were coming, and they are saying that they're going to come up with an alternative bid here. So interesting to see what is going to happen here, but clearly that this is pretty spicy. Moving on, I would like to remind once again everybody, I have been writing just a week ago a Twitter thread about agentic smart contracts. This is a visionary thread about how we can change the way the smart contracts are working without losing lots of features of the existing smart contracts, including availability. However, making it much more versatile, including the privacy built into the smart contracts, as well as an ability for the smart contracts to access external APIs and be written in any programming languages, not only in the specific programming languages that are able to be compiled in a kind of pretty restrictive blockchain runtime. So this is a pretty visionary piece, as I said. This is not something that is necessarily is being built right now, but we do have quite a lot of pieces there, except for maybe just one that is not existent at the moment, which is the proper data availability solution for such type of smart contracts. And we have these pieces in the Near and Aurora ecosystem. So I think it's pretty interesting direction of the development, and I would be curious to know what you think about it, especially if you are deep in the technicalities of how these things are working. This week started the Fork That Chain Bootcamp, and there are quite a lot of people participating in it. And together with it, we're actually posting some additional research articles and kind of tutorial articles So Slava have been pushing out to the documentation portal two separate articles. One is how to create your first EVM in minutes, and that it just goes through the setup and how you should be working with Aurora Cloud. Something wrong with the video, by the way. It happens. So this is like a walkthrough how you're able to configure everything and get your chain running. I hope that this is going to help everybody everybody who are participating in the Forked Chain Bootcamp. Another one is the Omni Bridge, the article that covers Omni Bridge CLI interface and how you are able to move the tokens using Omni Bridge. This is a specific command line interface that is used for the Omni Bridge, and Omni Bridge is a solution that is based on top of the chain signatures that allows you to move assets in the most permissionless way that is possible with the current blockchain architectures. And Omni Bridge works in between Near, Ethereum mainnet, Base, Solana, and Arbitrum, as far as I remember. Omni Bridge is a generalization of the Rainbow Bridge, and there will be more and more chains that are added to the Omni Bridge. And by the way, Omni Bridge works with Bitcoin too. So that's pretty cool. I encourage everyone to check it out, what different things you're able to do with these great tools. And thanks to Slava for publishing these articles. Another piece of news from this week was that in the Near ecosystem, it was an additional shard that was launched, increasing the number of shards from 8 to 9. So there are some misconceptions. The shards, they do have numbers, and actually there were shards that are created, and the highest identifier, or like the number of a shard, is 11 at the moment, but it doesn't mean that there are 11 shards. It's just some shards are being split into other shards. So like some other shards, like shard 0, does not exist at the moment. So in total, it's not the numbers / IDs of the shards that matter. The only thing that matters is the amount of them. And it is actually 9 shards at the moment. And I find it pretty impressive that I feel that the amount of resharding that was happening over the past months, like the number of these resharding actions, it was just like quite a lot of them, I would say. It was like first 4 shards, and then it was 6 shards, and then it was 8 shards, and now it's 9 shards, and it kind of is happening, and it's kind of normal already at this point. However, each of these single updates is a pretty complicated procedure. And it is happening in production and without Near blockchain skipping a bit. So it was a 600 millisecond block time, and which was on the last block when there were only 8 shards, and then already on the next block, in the next epoch, everything starts to work as 9 shards. With more throughput and in a more scalable way. This is amazing. The protocol has handled this upgrade absolutely seamlessly. Nobody saw anything. These upgrades are completely transparent to the developers, because developers in Near, they do not control the allocation of the smart contracts to the shards. The concept of a shard is not visible to the developers at all. However, this resharding and the robustness of this resharding operations now, it becomes ordinary, and I would say even expected. So big kudos to Bowen and the whole Near One team for performing these upgrades. This looks awesome. And the last piece of news, Near Intense has enabled the training with the Stellar network. One of the very few solutions, and probably the only decentralized solution that is powering the cross-chain swaps that is working with Stellar. On the Near Intent side, I can tell that we have been working with Stellar for some period of time on this feature. Besides the actual trading, there are additional features that are available there, including the fact that SCP-53, which is the message signing standard in the Stellar ecosystem, is now supported on Near intents. This means that Stellar native wallets and Stellar accounts are able to sign messages, and they are able to own directly assets inside of the intents, which also means that if you are already onboarded to Stellar, now suddenly you're able to hold in a non-custodial way. You can hold all of the assets that are available on the Near intents. And this is pretty cool, and I hope, and we have lots of plans for how to move this forward, and additional features to be developed. So it's just great that such similar blockchains as Near and Stellar are coming even closer to each other because of the intents. These are all of the updates from me from today. Let me double check what are the messages and what people have been asking. How's the summer bootcamp is going? Unfortunately, I don't have lots of time to pay attention to it, but it seems like the team from the Aurora Labs is pretty excited, and there are quite a lot of people who are participating in it. So pretty cool. Let's see what we're going to see out as an outcome from this bootcamp. I didn't want to offend anyone, but which incubator project did you like the most? I think they are all pretty cool. The thing that I see in the internal dashboards is there are quite a lot of adoption that is happening with Omega at the moment. They are onboarding tens of thousands of users into their chain already, and this is pretty cool. I think that next week we're going to publish some kind of like a piece of analytics and a piece of support towards Omega, specifically because of their adoption. So that's pretty interesting, right? To see. So that's really cool. But independently of these other projects, I think they all totally make lots of sense. And yeah, let's see how things are going to go with these projects. Alex will present articles used on Bootcamp at the end. Yeah, well, it was there. Okay, I don't find diffuse docs very clear. Like, does it say anywhere where to take nonce from? I'm not sure, Fox. First of all, you can go to near_intent Telegram group, and you can ask your questions. There is a developer section there. But in general, nonce is like random numbers to make sure that there are no duplicated requests. Okay. All good with video on my side. Well, not very good with the video on my side. Something is wrong. I'm not sure. No, now it is better. Okay, cool. Yeah. With Near Protocol going to 8-9 shards, what impact do you think it will bring to Aurora network? It's not going to bring any impact to the Aurora mainnet. Aurora mainnet is located on a separate shard, so we do have enough capacity. But in general, more capacity on the Near blockchain means more virtual chains that can be launched. And yeah, it's just this scalability, this Near scalability, taking into account that Aurora stack uses Near as a settlement layer. The scalability of the settlement layer means that we just can settle more, which means that Near can hold up with more transactions, which ultimately results in more virtual chains to be launched. Yeah, so pretty cool. Guys, put more likes. Put more likes. Yes, please. Like, subscribe, whatever, something. How all of this influencers, what they're saying here. Is Aurora having shards like Near? Aurora has separate instances of EVMs, which we call virtual chains. And the virtual chain, a single virtual chain, is working on a single Near shard. And it cannot scale past a single neural shard. However, it is able to eat up a single neural shard capacity, which is actually quite a lot. We have been calculating in terms of the capacity. So a single Aurora virtual chain is able to handle 3 times more compute than Ethereum, the whole Ethereum blockchain. And I think that was calculated with NEARs having 1.2 seconds on the blocks. And taking into account that this then got decreased to 600 milliseconds, it means that actually we are probably somewhere closer to 6 or maybe even 7x the capacity of the Ethereum mainnet. So at the moment, I mean, amount of compute per second, right? So if the block size didn't change, the block production rate increased twice. So it means that there are more compute to happen on a single Aurora chain. So a single Aurora chain is pretty big. The EVM itself is not scalable. The NEAR is not able to help us with scaling the EVM itself. There are some interesting projects that are trying to kind of tweak the EVM architecture and make it a little bit better. But fundamentally, the way how everything is designed within EVM, it is a single process kind of setup. And there will always be bottlenecks, even if there are some interesting, nice parallelization that is happening. The USDT contracts are single contracts, and they're operating on a single piece of data. And if you're not even you can try to parallelize EVM, but you would not be able to parallelize ERC20s and stuff like that. And it's like 50% of the transactions on Ethereum blockchains are touching either stables or wrapped ETH. So it's not going to parallelize, right? So fundamentally, from the way how everything is working, the thing that will help with scalability is a sharded blockchain, asynchronous communication in the cross-contract calls, and sharded smart contracts. Near Intense team is contributing a lot right now in a new standard on Near that is called NEP 616, which is a standard for sharded contracts. And if you are interested in all of the nitty-gritty details of it, this standard would bring us sharded tokens, and in general, sharded smart contracts. These smart contracts are going to be scalable together with Near blockchain. So you deploy it once, and then if you need more scale, then Near blockchain can detect it, launch more shards, and your smart contract will be able to work across all of these shards simultaneously. So that's a pretty interesting and pretty cool idea. Okay. So yeah, Slava was also commenting there. So there are some questions around the will there be huge supply burn to increase demand for the token? There is no planned supply burn at the moment. Yeah, and Monica is saying that she's going to share the highlights from the bootcamp. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, can OmniBridge be cheaper somehow? The latest, there are some suppliers for the supplier protocols for the OmniBridge, and these protocols, they do have their own fees. And in case these are used, then they are determining the fees around the OmniBridge. Yeah. From base to Near, it costs around 1 cent. Yeah, that's actually true. The only high cost, as far as I understand, is with Solana, because it relies on Wormhole, which costs 60 cents or something like that. Okay, cool. So it seems like that's it for now. There are approximately 160 people listening to this. Thank you very much all for joining. It was a pleasure to share the news with you. And as always, we're going to see each other in exactly 1 week from now on the next Friday Alpha League sessions. Until then, have a good one.